Today is Tuesday, August 21st, 2018. My name is Hollywood J-Blaq, and this is the Ovatyme Sports Show. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Let me pull the mic up over here real quick, bring it up a little bit more. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. I know it's a bit early for y'all, for some of y'all. So I appreciate y'all riding with me. Again, this is the Ovatyme Sports Show. It's Hollywood J-Blaq live in the building. See, last night, I don't know if anybody peeped out, but yesterday I had a whole nice show. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. Everything came out so great. I mean, I couldn't have asked for anything better, right? I had the perfect topics on deck. I had videos and highlights and everything else. Everything was going so smoothly until I found out that nobody heard a damn word that I had to say. You have no idea how frustrating that is. I'll tell you, there's levels of frustration, levels of pistivity. That was one of them. That sucked. That sucked on top of being sucked. Let me see. Give me a second here. I'm trying to find something. Do. There we go. So let me pull this up because we had a couple things going on. I mean, hold on, wait, up. Pause. There we go. Sorry. Anyways, so we had a couple things going on yesterday. A couple things going on throughout the week. It was one heck of a weekend for sports in general. And that's why I really tried to get ahead of it and, hit you guys up on Monday, let you guys know that what we were trying to do. And apparently it just didn't work out. I mean, what can I do, right? No sound till about 70% of the way through the show. Shout out to my man's Toby for letting me know, hey, guy, I can't hear a fucking word you're saying. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Tobes. Always much love, always much appreciated. So let's go right into it. Let's go talk about, I have to do the whole thing over again, but I ain't tripping. I love discussing sports with y'all. It's what I do. I do what I do best. So let's talk about it. We're going to talk about some of the NFL preseason starting on Thursday. Let me get my spreadsheet out real quick. See, we're in a digital age. We don't use pen and paper anymore, ladies and gentlemen. We got Galaxy Notes. Our pen and paper is the Galaxy Notes. So when we need to take notes and share notes, I just write it down in notes. I write it down with a little piece of paper, a little night paper, a little bit of pen, or some fake paper, and I'm straight. I think it's pretty good. So let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about some of the scores that went down. We had the Patriots beating the Eagles 37-20. The weird thing about this is Tom Brady decided to play two quarters. He went 19 of 26, 172 yards, 2 touchdowns. We had a Brandon Bolden sighting for the first time in a minute. James White, first time in a minute too. The interesting thing I came away from this game was two things, right? The first and foremost is that Tom Brady is a man that likes to hold grudges. That's the one big thing that I took away from this is that Tom Brady does not give a damn about how you feel about him. He holds grudges. Probably even more so than Bill Belichick. I mean, the game was well out of reach by the time Tom Brady had finished up. But the other thing I like to take out of this is that Nate Sudfeld, third string quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception against second, third team defense of the New England Patriots. That's got to be kind of worrisome for Bill Belichick. I mean, especially Bill Belichick prides himself on depth. So to me, that's a huge red flag. I'd be a little bit concerned that you may not have the depth to stop maybe a third string player. But we'll talk about that in a minute. The Packers beating the Steelers 51-34. I'm still trying to figure out where all these points came from because it was 17-14 Packers in the first quarter. Then the Packers scored 17 unanswered points. Then after that, I mean, they scored another 14. Game was already out of hand. They were already down. That 17 points in the second quarter that they didn't put back up on the board, that ended up being the main difference maker. So, yeah, that had to suck. That was an ass kicking of ass kickings. I'm looking at the stats. I don't see any stats that jump out to me as why this happened. I mean, especially because they play everybody, right? Deshaun Kaiser doing his thing in Green Bay, 7-12, 149, 2 touchdowns. He might be able to take over. I mean, he's kind of the same type of player. I mean, it's Rodgers. I mean, a lot better than Huntley, Brett Huntley. So I don't know. That looks good to me. Can't argue with that. Next on the plate, we got the Redskins beating the Jets 15-13. Which I talked about this in a while, a couple weeks ago on the NFL preview. I said we got ourselves a quarterback controversy brewing. Teddy Bridgewater played about as good as you could ask somebody to play. Sam Darnold is playing like you could ask anybody to play. And now we have to figure out, are they going to trade Teddy Bridgewater or are they going to keep are they going to keep him or trade him? All signs point to trade because his value is hot right now. So hot. It's on fire. My suggestion is always wait and see, though. Let's see how he does in the next 2 preseason games. Is he going to perform like he did? Who knows? I mean, that's up to the people to decide. So then Friday, we had the Chiefs beating the Falcons 28-14 with your boy Patrick Mahomes. This dude is mercurial. He went 8 for 12, 138, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. His 1 touchdown was a 70-yard bomb, and his interception was a blunder. I don't know what to think of this fool. This fool is just, I have no idea. I told you this is going to be a huge gamble, and I swear and I promise you that if they don't make the playoffs this year, after being a playoff contender for the last 4 years under Alex Smith, then you already know that that the game is about over for him. That it's a wrap. It's about, I should say for Andy Reid. I should probably be more specific. Andy Reid is betting the farm on Patrick Mahomes, and I don't know. I don't know if he's going to keep the farm in this one, y'all. This is a little bit rough. Even that's a gamble I wouldn't even take. Let's see what else. Quick rundown real quick. We have the Giants beating the Lions 30-17. We have the Bills beating the Browns 19-17. Panthers over Dolphins 27-20. Cardinals over Saints with Josh Rosen looking real nice, actually. 10-16, officially running that offense behind that beastly offensive line. Best offensive line in football right now, according to stats. So, I don't know, y'all. I mean, it's looking real nice. The NFC West is looking like the best conference in football. Everybody's prepared. Everybody's ready to go. We have the Raiders. The Rams beating the Raiders 19-15. With the only notable highlight of that game is the Raiders fans and the Rams fans getting to a fight inside the stadium. A huge fight inside the stadium. Nothing else is worthy of talking about except for that. I thought it was the funniest thing in the world, to be dead honest. The Bengals beating the Cowboys 21-13. The Bucks beating the Titans 30-14. What's his name? Jameis Winston looking real nice, real lit. He's not even getting first team reps, and he's looking like the best quarterback on the field right now. The Texans beat my Niners 16-13 off some last minute heroics. The Bears beat the Broncos 24-23. Paxton Lynch getting booed out the stadium. It's always a beautiful thing. I always told that man was going to be a bust, and sure enough, it's being proven. And the Chargers beating the Seahawks 24-14. My question is that, while speaking on the Chargers, I guess the big question is this. Phillip Rivers, right? He's sure put up some stats. He got drafted the same year Eli Manning did. The man is practically one of the most incredible quarterbacks, a sure ballot Hall of Famer, even if he doesn't win a championship. But then I have to ask the question, as much emphasis as they're putting on Phillip Rivers this year, do you think that is his time? Do you think that he's ready to go? I don't know. I think that the Chargers are built right now to make a playoff run because I don't think the Chiefs are going to be good this year. But again, I'll talk about that in our in the podcast, the weekly NFL podcast. I'm gonna talk about the Chargers, and that whole AFC West is in shambles right now. The Raiders aren't, have a new coach. The Broncos are gonna roll the dice with Case Keenum. The Chiefs are rolling the dice with Patrick Mahomes, and the only consistent is the San Diego Chargers and Phillip Rivers. So we're gonna have to see how this goes. And then lastly, yesterday we had a game, a little sneaky game. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens beat Andrew Luck and the Colts 2019. Things look a bit shady on both sides. So nobody won, nobody lost. It was just a game that happened. But before I move on, I got to put this up, y'all. I hope y'all know what I'm talking about. So yesterday, Saturday, we had the Jaguars and the Vikings. There was a play on there that got called roughing the passer. So my question to y'all is, I'm going to play this. Let me add this up to the broadcast. I'm going to play this for the people at home. Watch this, and I want you to tell me if this is roughing the passer. Here we go. Let's play it in 3, 2, 1, go.
No, I mean, it's been a rule that you can't land with all your body weight. That's one of the worst rules I've ever seen in the National Football League, with all due respect to everybody involved. And I have to agree. I mean, it's been a rule that you can't land with all your body weight. That's one of the worst rules. I mean, it's been a rule that you can't land with all your body weight.
Bad. Horrible, ridiculous, stupid, ugly, dumb, pitiful, disgusting, abhorrent. Yes, I pulled that word out of the deep. That was horrible. That play got called for roughing the passer. So typically roughing the passer is when the quarterback no longer has the football after he throws it, and the defender at about 2 seconds drives himself into the quarterback into the ground. The quarterback was untouched. I mean, the linebacker was untouched. The quarterback still had the ball, which means that he was an active runner. The lineman sacks the quarterback, which means the quarterback still had the ball, which means that the quarterback was still an active lineman. An active player. He was active. I need to emphasize this. He was an active ball handler. And yet, that play that you just saw was ruled roughing the passer. So the big question I have now, I said every single descriptive word I can say, is I ask this. Have we gone soft? Not SOFT. I'm talking about SAWFT. Have we gone that soft that we have to add an extra letter in soft and spell it a different way? Has we come to the point to where we can no longer tackle, that the tackling is done? What the hell's going on? I mean, we've come to a point where, like, I understand the whole CT argument. I don't want anybody to get me wrong. I understand the argument when it comes to CTE and the helmet injuries and the concussions and blah, 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 blah. And there's one side to it, well, this is what football players signed up for and they wouldn't have it any other way, versus, oh, we should be protecting these players, blah, 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 blah. My statement on the fact of the matter is this, is that, all right, so I get that you want to change football, and I get that you want to change how things are, right? The problem is that you've had players that are in the NFL 32, 33, 34, 35 years old, 36 and up, that learned one separate way of playing football on the defensive side, that learned a specific way of tackling. I think the average age of NFL defenders is about 31, 32 years old. That means the average NFL defender isn't even used to the changes that have gone into tackling over the last 5-6 seasons. The average NFL player is not used to the new rules of tackling that have gone on in the past 5 or 6 seasons. So now these players, these veterans, now have to re-educate themselves in tackling. They have to re-educate themselves in defending their positions. They have to re-educate themselves when they've been taught practically since they were 8, 7, 6 years old how to tackle somebody, where to tackle somebody. It's been programmed. It will literally be the equivalent of somebody telling you, you've been riding a bike by pedaling forwards your entire life. We've taught you since you were 3 years old how to push a pedal forward to ride a bike. And now at 50 years old, you're going to have to pedal backwards in order to pedal forwards. The literal equivalent of it. You have to relearn tactics, relearn defenses, relearn how to strategize. And yes, that's going to be great for the younger players because they'll eventually be able to teach these newer players how to play. Now, these older players that have been taught this way their whole entire life, now this comes to the point where, oh, I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, and I feel them. I don't know what you're going to do either. And now, and the fact of the matter is, it might end up costing you your job. It might just end up costing you your job. They're going to be like, well, you can't tackle people the way that the new NFL wants you to. So now you're disposable. You are disposable. So thank you for the blood, sweat, and tears that you've given us over the last 12, 13, 14 plus seasons. However, the NFL has changed the rules on you, and now we can't have you because you're now a liability. So I said this last night, and I wish people would have heard me, and I'm going to say it again. We have now come to the point, ladies and gentlemen, where we are now playing flag football. That is what we have gone to. This is now flag football. There ain't no more tackling. There's going to be maybe some light tackling. Maybe somebody going to get pushed down every once in a while, but make no mistake about it. We have now gone into flag football. And you question why the NFL is losing ratings? Everybody wants to blame Colin Kaepernick. Everybody wants to blame the kneeling players. Oh, they're disrespecting the flag and blah, 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 blah. No. The softness of the NFL is what's losing viewers. The NFL is not what it used to be 10 years ago. Hell, it's not even what it used to be 5 years ago. Not even what it used to be 20, 30, whatever. They're protecting more than entertaining, and people know the risks. Hell, people know the risk in professional wrestling, right? They're still professional wrestling. It changed a little bit, but there's not, I mean, it's still entertaining and people still do take risks. Matter of fact, didn't Shane McMahon, the freaking the chairman, jump off a Hell in a Cell 2 years ago? Sometimes you can still take risk and entertain. The NFL is literally becoming a no-fun league, where they're going to have to add another F, the National Flag Football League. Mark my words on it. This isn't going to go away anytime soon, and it's only going to get worse. So now, moving to some NBA news. Let me get my notes real quick. The NBA is a weird thing. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So last night I was on my nice little rant about Oscar Robertson. Oscar Robertson sold his NBA championship ring, his only NBA championship ring that he won for the Milwaukee Bucks. I think it's the only time Milwaukee won it in that modern era. Or they might have won a couple, I don't know. A little bit too far past my time. It's 1971. But $91,000. So when they ask you what your greatest memory is worth, your greatest memory to Oscar Robertson is worth $91,000. His culmination of his career, his Hall of Fame ring sold for $60,000. And his game used Buck jersey sold for $50,000. We're talking about a man that pioneered the NBA. We're talking about a man who made it possible for the Magic Johnsons to succeed, which then led to the possibility of the Jordans and Dominique Wilkinses to succeed, which led to the possibility of the LeBron Jameses and Kobe's and Durant's and Curry's and everybody else to succeed. And yet, this man had to sell his personal belongings just to be able to make it by, possibly avoid bankruptcy. So I asked myself the questions, really. I asked myself, why isn't the NBA taking more responsibility for their retired players? Why isn't the NBA coming through and saying, hey, you know what? You gave your blood, your sweat, your tears for this team. You won us an NBA championship. You gave everything that you had to us. And yet, we're not going to do anything for you. That's exactly what the NBA has said. Where the NBA, the multi-billion-dollar organization, they netted $1 billion plus last year in revenue. Last year's season, $1 billion plus. That's after they paid off. I mean, not revenue, in net. Sorry, in net. They netted $1 billion. That means after they paid their taxes, after they paid their employees, after they paid their expenses, their licensing, all this other stuff, after they paid all their bills, they still ended up with $1 billion plus. The players, they make it. The best players in the NBA are making $20+ million a year. The top 100 NBA players are making 100, and probably some below top 100 are making $20 million a year, undeservedly, some of them. And yet, for players like Oscar Robertson, we've seen these. This is not just new, right? We've seen many players get into financial trouble. We've seen many players get into issues. And then I ask myself every fucking time, why aren't we taking care of these players? Why is it so fucking difficult to take care of these players that we're going to have to sit here and let these men suffer? They gave their blood, sweat, and tears for the sport. Not just the NBA, too. It goes for the NFL. This goes for the NHL. These men and women put the sport on the map. They made it a cultural icon. It wasn't for these Hall of Famers, these true ballers, true players, true hockey players doing their thing, there would be none of this. If they were just mediocre, there would be none of this. So where are the players? Where are the and people saying, hey, let's throw this into a fund or something like that, a nonprofit, and make sure that we take care of the players that took care of us and made sure that we had a big game to play on a grand stage to play at, that make sure that we can make $1 billion a year with endorsements and money and shit. That's the shit that drives me crazy. But I digress. Now, one more home stretch. Lots. So, if every team has about 30 games left, right? That means in order to make an impact, most of these teams are going to have to win about 20 to be considered for the playoffs. Go about 20-10, unless you're under, and then you need to win about the majority of them. So right now in the American League, we have Boston and New York are the kings of the AL East. We have Cleveland solely dominating the Central. And then we have Houston, Oakland, and Seattle all vying for a playoff. So that's 5 teams. No, I'm sorry, that's 6 teams. Excuse me, my math is all fucked up. But the crazy part about it is that you have in the East, you have Tampa Bay creeping around at 500, a little bit over 500. You have the Angels of Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim creeping around 500. And it's funny that you say, and I talked about this yesterday. I said this in my show last week. I said the A's were creeping up. I said if they win enough games, they just might challenge the West for the West Crown. They can potentially. I mean, they may end up going against the Astros and challenging them for the West Crown, and that's exactly what happened. That is exactly what happened. The A's have creeped up. They've went on a run, and they now are tied up with Houston with the 75-50 record in the West. Bay Area fucking stand up. Congratulations. They are doing their thing. But it's not over because, again, Seattle's creeping. I mean, it could go either way. It could go either way. And now in the National League, we have Atlanta and Philly, the top of the NL East. We have Chicago, Milwaukee, and St. Louis on top of the Central. And then we have the Diamondbacks, the Rockies, the Dodgers, and a creeping San Francisco are running the West. Only team that doesn't have a playoff chance in the holy hell is San Diego. Now, you could potentially, if San Francisco pulls out a run, they pull out a maybe 20-25 game run, like they're capable of doing. The Central, they're doing just fine. You got Washington, they can go on a run. This is why I love the home stretch of the Major League Baseball because you need to win and you need to consistently win. If you're in that middle of that 500, you need to win and you need to win big. Your playoff spots are on the line. All righty then. So that is the rundown of all those scores. So now the last thing I got on the docket for everybody. Podcast. Yes. So the title of this is Sinful Black Entertainment is gone worldwide because of that. And you're probably asking why. Well, podcast. We at Simple Black Entertainment pride ourselves in delivering the best of content, and we want to make sure that we deliver it in as many formats and to as many people as possible. We believe that sharing our views on life and sports and things like that present a different type of experience for the person that's looking for an unbiased opinion on sports. I don't want to have an opinion. I don't have an agenda. I love my Niners, but I don't have an agenda, right? My boy loves the New England Patriots, but he doesn't have an agenda. Hell, we just talked about the Cleveland Browns making the playoffs last year. I mean this year. So you can always tell that we're unbiased. So with that said, you can now catch the Sinful Black Entertainment Ovatyme Sports Show, starting with this one, and even continuing with the NFL preview. But this is going to be available on Anchor. It's going to be available on Spotify. Matter of fact, I'll even break it down. Every single place that you can find the Sinful Black Entertainment Ovatyme Sports Show. You will find us on Anchor. You will find us on Spotify. You will find us on Breaker. You will find us on Pocket Cast. You will find us on Radio Public. And you will find us on Stitcher. Oh, yeah, you will find us on Google. It's going to be a beautiful day when I can finally pop up and be like, hey, guess what? I can tell my Google now. I'm in my Google Home to listen to podcasts. I want to make it so you'll be able to tell Siri that you can watch us. I want you to be able to tell. Hey Siri, let me listen to the Ovatyme Sports Show. I'm waiting for that day. I've tested it out. It works just a little bit. Got a little bit of tweaking to go, but it's fine. But make sure you check out the podcast. Now, we're also bring our wrestling show to the podcast as well. We are going to Oh yeah. So anyway, yeah. One more thing. So yesterday I said that I believe in two things: expectation and accountability. Right? I have to set the expectation that I want this to be successful, and in order for this to be successful, I have to set the expectation of how I want to do this. So my expectation is that I'm going to be doing the Ovatyme Sports Show 3 days a week. It's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm late because my microphone wasn't working and I did not know that. And that is my fault solely because I should have rechecked after checking the recheck while I rechecked. But on a serious note, I want to make sure that we deliver high quality content. Because if I start doing this 3 days a week, the possibility of expanding how I do my podcast arises. The possibility of getting more money, more opportunities to do this arise. And this is why I want to do it. I want to make sure that I deliver the best quality content and give it a worldwide twist, stir the pot a little bit. So other than that, that's it. I hope you guys listen. I will put up podcast links inside the comments of the show. But other than that, I really hope everybody enjoys their work day. I know everybody's got the work day grind. If you're already at work and you want something to listen to, the podcast is going live on Anchor, and I will post a link to that as well. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure being with y'all. Again, my name is Hollywood J-Blaq. This is the Ovatyme Sports Show. And we out this bitch. Deuces.